Let me ask you about Shamima Begum. You hinted to it towards earlier. A British-born girl, 15 years of age, in a secondary school, goes to Syria, and then now, obviously, everything's been revoked. Her citizenship, she's not allowed to come back. Last 3 children. Your views on Shamima Begum?
Okay,
everything.
Okay, let's deal with the political aspect first. Her status was revoked. She was a dual citizen. Bangladesh as well. I think Bangladesh have told to get lost. We don't want you as well. And as far as Shamima Begum is concerned, it's quite simple. The Court of Appeal have ruled that national security prevails over the fact that she was a young person and trafficked, and therefore it's a national security reason. I kind of touched upon the fact that her case was dealt with under the Special Immigration Appeals Committee, the SIAC provisions, whereby her status was revoked summarily whilst she was in a camp in Syria, and she received that letter whilst trying to get back to the United Kingdom. And she's been fighting ever since to come back to the United Kingdom, arguing the fact that she was trafficked. And if anything, she was the victim of sexual exploitation as well, and groomed. So that's what she's arguing. Question, what do I think as a lawyer, and what do I think as a person? What I thought initially of the whole unfortunate situation as a person was you made your bed, you lied. Initially. Until I looked into this case as a defence lawyer who deals with modern day slavery issues all the time, understanding how people are vulnerable, especially when it comes to young persons. There's case law on this, which goes on to state just because a person reaches the age of 18, it doesn't automatically mean that that person has reached a certain degree of maturity and therefore can make life-changing decisions. The brain is still kind of developing until 25. Putting that to one side, again, modern day slavery, sexual exploitation. Just because somebody hasn't committed a crime per se, it doesn't mean they're not being exploited, mentally groomed. Do you understand? Then having that all in arm and understanding her family dynamics, that the current political climate they're in, I think she should be allowed back into the United Kingdom. I think it was a very ill-formed judge decision by me at that time when I initially looked at the case to think she shouldn't be allowed back into the country. I think when you look at all the information provided, I think she's been given a raw deal. I think there's a lot of criminals out there who have committed heinous crimes, and I can understand why the government would not want that. But you've got to take into account one's personal situation, loss of children, maturity, how she went there, what she's been through, coupled with the fact that what has she done, what criminal activity has she been engaging in. Now that falls into the SIAC provisions, i.e. that's national security information, they can't disclose that. But if you can't disclose it, you can't check the veracity of what it is she said to have done. So how then can she defend herself? It's like chasing your tail. If you think I'm saying it's a government decision on public policy grounds, it's a vote winner, I'm not a political person. But certainly I will kind of raise an eyebrow. But I won't say it openly. Because again, I'm not privy to that information. So do I think she should be allowed back into the country? Yes. Do I think there should be certain form of sanctions, safeguarding us? Of course. Remember, she's been in a hostile environment. God knows what she's been exposed to. Why would she want to come back in the first place, when she left us? But again, everybody has the right. And it's her right that's been used.
I do agree with you on her coming back to the country. And the way I look at it as an educator, I think her coming back with the obviously without I don't know much about the political side as you mentioned because I'm not a politician, but putting sanctions, putting safeguarding, whatever in place for her, then using Shamima Begum to kind of spread the awareness of what is it like, to be in those hostile positions in those countries. So, for example, she could go to other schools and spread the awareness, saying, "Look, I've been told this. I was asked to do this. I've done it. I've been stupid, for example, at that stage. Please don't fall into it."
A real life mentor.
Absolutely. I think just looking at it, that from that angle as an educator, I do think she should be coming back.
Well, we agree. I think a lot of education and a lot of leading people do say she should be back. But unfortunately, if you look at some of the comments on the various platforms, it seems that there's a lot of hostility towards her and her faith.
Yeah, I think so. I've got two questions on that. One is, according to the Wikipedia of Shamima Begum and some of the information that I've looked into, prior her leaving the UK as a 15 years old girl, the Islamic State smuggler was feeding the information to a Canadian intelligence.
Yeah.
And that Canadian intelligence was in contact with the Metropolitan Police here in the UK.
Yeah.
So they kind of knew that she was moving.
Yeah.
And still didn't put any preventative strategy in place. Maybe they could have stopped her in the airport and said, "Excuse me, where are you going? Who are you?"
So you're right in that point, because I've dealt with cases like that where people are trying to leave the country, for example, back then to places like Mauritania and Yemen, where the Metropolitan Police would stop a person from leaving, border force as well, take their passports off them, and if anything, cite, and in more serious cases, charge them with criminal offences under terrorism legislation, which included commission, preparation, and instigation acts of terrorism. So yes, that was there. As to why the net failed, or whether or not the fact that two were actually engaging with one another, we're never going to know. That's national security stuff.
Okay.
But yes, if that is the case, and that's what's been tabled, and that's what's come out, then there's absolutely no reason why the Metropolitan Police and Border Force should have not stopped 2-3 young children travelling abroad unaccompanied.
Absolutely. My last question on Shamima Begum is this. Had Shamima Begum been from the general population, for example, let's say if she was a white girl, would the result be different of her coming back to the country and all of that issues that she's facing?
Look, there's a test at the moment here where we're talking about the unknown, but there's actually a Middle England woman who's been hunted worldwide, referred to as the White Widow. Aylesbury born, I think she is. The English Rose. Implicated in many terrorist activity across the globe, I think. That's what they're saying. It's not me. It'll be, let's see, how can I deal with this? It'll be interesting to see whether or not this young lady ever surfaces and says, "I want to come back to the United Kingdom." And then a parallel has to be reached, isn't it?
Yeah.
And at this stage, I can't answer that. But what I can say is you've got a question mark which may come to fruition to see whether or not she'll be given the same treatment.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.